Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are on page 45 of your student journal, and our objective or our goal for today is today I will represent, and remember we keep saying that means show, so represent fractions on a number line. So that was what our last video's goal was, but we're going to add to it. So today I will represent fractions on a number line, comma, and compare them to benchmark fractions. Okay. So let's talk about what this means, because we have a word benchmark fractions in our goal or our objective, but we don't have it in our vocabulary. So benchmark fractions, what we're going to be talking about is 1/2. We are going to be comparing everything to 1/2, also to 0 and 1, but those aren't fractions. Okay, so our vocabulary today is the same as it's been, so we don't have any new vocabulary words, so we're actually just going to jump right in and get started. Okay, so here is my first problem, and my first problem says label 0, 1/2, and 1. Okay, so I'm going to first do that. So here is 0. Here is 1, and 1/2 would mean that I cut my number line because the denominator is 2, that I would have to cut my number line into 2 pieces. That's where my denominator would come in. And then here I only have 1 of the 2 pieces. And here I would have 2 of the 2 pieces. So this is 1/2. And then that would be 2/2. Okay, so let's read our next directions. Partition the number line into fourths. Oh, okay, now they want me to take the same number line, and instead of to label where 0, 1/2, and 1 is, they want it into fourths. Okay, well, I've already partitioned it into 2 pieces. So if I cut these, now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal pieces. Okay, so but now my denominator is going to be 4 because I partitioned it into 4 pieces. So when I get to this, that was 1 of the 4 pieces. When I get here, it was 1, 2 of the 4 pieces. When I get here, it's 1, 2, 3 of the 4 pieces. And when I get here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 4 pieces. Okay, so look at what I notice here. This 1 could all be 1/2, or it could be called 2/4. Those are something that we call equivalent or equal fractions. They have the same value. The same thing over here. We could call this 1, or we could call it 2/2. Or 4/4. They all have the same value. Okay, so our next step says place an X where 1/2 can be found. Well, 1/2 was found right here. So that is where 1/2 is, which is the same as 2/4. Okay, so let's look at our next one. It says place an X where 7/8 falls on the number line. Okay. So my denominator of 8 tells me I need to cut this or partition this into 8 equal pieces. So let's first put 0, 1, and I need to partition it into 8 pieces. So I might start by cutting it in half, so 1, 2 pieces. And then if I cut those in half, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. And then if I cut those in half again, how many pieces do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I have my 8 equal parts, which means my denominator is going to be an 8. for all of my parts. And this one is going to be 1/8. And here I have 2 parts when I get there, so 2/8. Here I would have 3 parts, so 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8. Okay, so my first direction said place an X where 7/8 is. Okay, then it says explain whether it's closer to 0, 1/2, or 1. Well, I know where 0 is and I know where 1 is. Where was 1/2? Where is half this number line? Well, if it was cut into 8 pieces, isn't 4 of the 8 pieces half? Wouldn't right here be 1/2 of it? Because 4 of the 8 pieces is half of it. So this is the same as half. Those are what we call those equivalent fractions. They're equal. Okay, so is 7/8 closer to 0, closer to half, or 1? Well, it's definitely not close to 0. It's 7 parts away from 0. It's 1, 2, 3 parts away from half, but it's only 1 part away from 1. So I would say it's closer. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Closer to 1. That would be our answer. It's only 1 away from 1. Okay, let's try some of these together. So we're on page 46. And here's our first problem together. It says label 0, 1/2, and 1. Okay, so this is our 0, and this is our 1. And 1/2 means the denominator's 2, so I have to cut it into 2 parts. So this is where 1/2 is. Okay, next it says divide the number line into 6ths. Okay, well, if I already cut it into 2 pieces and I want 6, I could put 3 pieces here and 3 pieces there. So let's cut this one into 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3, and let's cut this one into 3 pieces, or partition. So let's see if we actually have 6 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now we can label them. So our denominator is going to be 6 because I partitioned it into 6 equal parts. And this is 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and 6/6. And we see those equivalent fractions. 1/2 is the same as 3/6, and 1 is the same as 6/6. Okay, so then it says place an X where 1/2 can be found. Well, 1/2 is right here, which is the same as 3/6. Okay, let's look at number 2. Number 2 says place an X where 1/8 falls on the number line. Okay, so we have a 0 and a 1, and 1/8, the denominator 8 means we need to cut this into 8ths. So I say let's cut it in half first, and then we could cut those into half, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, and then if we cut those into half again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. Okay, which means our denominator is an 8 since we partitioned the whole into 8 parts. So our denominators are going to be 8, and this is 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8. Okay, and they wanted us to put an X on the number line for 1/8. Then they want to know, is it closer to 0, 1/2, or 1? Well, 0 is here and 1's here. I don't have where 1/2 is, but I know that 1/2 is right here in the middle, which is the same as 4/8. So this is where 1/2 is. So which one is this closer to? Well, it's definitely not closer to 1, and it's very close to 0. It's only 1 away, where it's 1, 2, 3 parts away from 4/8. So I'm going to say it's closer to 0 is my answer. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you have 3 pages to try on your own. Have a great day.